Perennials. I'm Marga Ortigas, and on this episode of About That, I am once again sitting down with my fellow Perennials, Tanya and Carla. Now, we've all spent much of the last 25 years focused on work, either by choice or by default, and it hasn't really left much time for more, shall we say, personal endeavors. Now, do forgive us to those of you out there listening, as this may sound a bit like the blind leading the blind, but in this episode, we Perennials from Generation X take on 21st century dating. And what do you do when life doesn't quite work out as you originally expected?
Just because I've been talking to quite a few people now, you go out in Manila, and as you mentioned, I have met quite a few people who are in the process of dating, and at this stage where they're
our age,
in their 40s,
right?
Not necessarily people who have been married before, and it seems that Tinder is quite popular in Metro Manila.
Are they on Tinder?
Is it like a
Yes,
dating thing?
Tinder is quite a huge thing.
The Philippines,
But-
not really. No one admits that they would be on, except maybe for the people who are cruising.
Yeah, but aren't we all like 1 degree away from each other? Don't we all know each other
Yes,
eventually?
but apparently, the Philippines, the economy booming and all of that, and there's a lot of foreigners who come here, who not just make their
That
home here,
way.
but fly in and out.
Yeah. That makes sense.
And yes, so there's a
Okay.
whole new way of meeting people.
Okay.
But it's not, because like, my gay friends who, like you said, even when they
Yes.
travel or if they're in,
Oh no,
Yeah, no.
these
just-
are like straight
yes,
people.
not necessarily gay or anything, or people choosing to have affairs, which
Right.
apparently I've heard some people do.
Yeah,
that.
I've heard like
Who
there
are
are
married.
there are a lot
Yeah.
of married men on Tinder. is
Now
what I
that I'm
heard.
sure people might be listening who have stories to tell
Right.
us, and that would be a good one to hear.
Would love to, not,
Because
but
for sure,
maybe
there's
we
quite a few
don't
varieties
tell.
that might not have ended very well.
Right.
From what I understand, there should be a post-Tinder app actually where you can, like Yelp, you can rate the guy or
Oh.
whatever, and
You
be
can
like,
It's kind of
them.
like
Yeah.
it's like Hot or Not, but which is I'm dating myself. That Hot or Not.
well,
when
hot
first
or
came
not
out.
is but does that also have like reviews? Like
It's
so and so
basically-
is like this.
no, but
or
basically you
made me
vote.
pay for dinner.
No, not in depth. I remember this is so long ago. This is like the early days of like social media, but Hot or Not was basically like a picture and you rated if they were hot or not. It's
No,
very
this one is
simple.
like there should be Yelp, like a Yelp for
Like this
dating
guy
apps.
was.
Yeah.
Beware.
Beware
Beware.
is actually,
Bad for your
I'm sure
as
there
bad
must,
hygiene or
there
something.
must be a site. There must be one. There's got to be one. I mean, there's so many.
Would you consider it social media dating?
Not
What do
social
you-
media
no.
dating. It's different. That's
Never.
dating
Okay.
app dating.
Oh, sorry. See,
This
these
is
are
social
terms
media dating. Is
that
like
as a Generation Xer, I
you
am
hit
not
up
aware
someone
of.
on Twitter and like, hey, you want to go out on
Oh,
a
is
date?
that what that is?
Because
Oh,
that's
I see.
social media is when you relate to like other people, right?
Oh, so
Ah.
app dating is more.
You go through an app
I
like
see.
J-Date. Remember, like when
yeah,
J-Date
J-Date.
started out?
Okay, J-Date. Talk us through
It's all
J-Date.
about lunch.
Oh, I never.
Yeah.
Didn't you have that in the UK? J-Date.
I'm not
J-Date?
sure.
Basically,
I've
it was-
never participated
For
in
an-
anything.
No, I mean, they
Oh,
make-
is that for
yeah?
Jewish?
So if you're
Oh.
Jewish and you
Ooh.
want to find,
Yeah.
a mate who's Jewish, I think that do they also do
They
gay?
can do gay and
straight, right?
Straight,
It's
gay,
only-
straight and
Non-Jewish.
non-Jewish looking for Jewish.
Yeah, or Jewish looking
looking
for
for
non-Jewish.
Right.
people. But I think it's eHarmony that didn't have
eHarmony
gay.
doesn't have gay. I think Match.com. Maybe Match. I
Maybe
don't know. I
Match
don't
had,
go on
like-
these things.
Yeah, I mean, I saw it to be.
Oh, the denials are
No, no, no,
flying fast
seriously,
and
I don't
furious
know.
here, ladies and gentlemen.
Here.
I don't go on those
I
things.
No. Okay, this is
Hey,
this is
don't.
true story because at the time when I was in the States and it was really like coming up, and I had friends who were doing it, and they said you should get on it, you should do it. How else are you gonna meet people? Especially like my industry was just like you're working so much, you only kind of meet people in this industry, and then they're like you should just go and you should do it. The absolute truth is I was just lazy. It's like
I'd rather
eHarmony
stay home.
had like it was
Oh,
the
just-
application was so
Just
long.
yeah,
I was
just
like,
getting on board.
uh,
yeah.
I'm tired. I don't want to do that. So I never did it. Like I think I have like a half-filled like eHarmony
Because
application.
eHarmony was a website,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
As opposed to like the
It was
apps where you can just look at profiles as if they're playing
but
cards,
they would
right?
have become an app
Ah.
eventually. But it was like, it was like Match.com. It's like early
Right.
where you had to go on the internet. It wasn't so much your phone, but you had to go on the internet For eHarmony, it was the most involved because you filled out like a bazillion questions, and that was supposed to help you find your match. Which there's still eHarmony,
I think
right?
so.
Then their ads were always about couples that found each other despite the odds. So that looked promising, but really that was just the longest questionnaire ever, and I was just like, I think it's like only a third filled. I was like, I can't. I'm sorry, I'm just too lazy.
And do you still consider yourself out there in the dating world at this point? I mean, are you still actively looking for a partner?
I'm so like not that person that would go out to bars and like.
No.
I'm kind of a hermit.
Yes.
That's kind of a bad thing.
Yes. Stay at home.
No, but
Netflix.
It's not like we never went.
Yes.
But it's not like we don't go out.
Yeah.
Because we still go out.
I still go out, but not to look for a partner or
Yeah.
a relationship. No, it's always to just either hang out with other people,
Drink a lot.
and
So
hang out
basically,
with
you all
other
have drinking
friends.
problems at this
Yes.
point.
Yeah.
Yes. I've developed one. No, I'm just kidding.
No, it's not a problem if you
It's
can hold it.
I can hold it.
She's
I'm
fine.
pretty good at it. But no, I'm not, never say never, but I'm not actively looking for someone.
Yeah, I don't know. I've just kind of like given up classifying it. You can't. It's the thing I can't control.
Right.
So it comes, it goes. I don't have any. For someone who likes control, this is the one thing I've learned that I'm not gonna focus on it because that's not something I can control.
How did you make peace, asking for all the other control freaks out there? How did you make peace with the things that you cannot control?
It's a process, but I mean, there's still things that I want to control. Like, control freak or not, I think all of us kind of. Well, we probably all wish. I'm not sure, but we probably all wish that we could control things so that with the outcome is something that we want, that it's in our favor. But I don't know. I don't know that there's an answer. I think either it's not so much giving up as it is like coming to terms with like, okay, I understand now that this is something I don't have control over, which is certain parts of your life. But then there are others. Then I think though, the funny thing is the parts I can't control, I'm like full on. I'm controlling you because you're the only thing I can control. So maybe that's the reaction. I don't know. I mean, I'm sure other people have better answers than that. You can tell me how to.
Carla is shaking her head and staring off into space right
No,
now.
Mine is more because it's more practical, I guess.
Right.
Because I lived away. Mine is more like systems and government, like banking and government.
Oh, that stuff that you can't control.
Yeah, so that kind. It's more about the traffic. It's not about like people who don't know how to cook or people who don't know how to order things in restaurants. It's all about practical things. So how my life is affected now. Like my banking, I don't trust the banks here. It's all like that. So it's like it's beyond my control. It's a bigger systemic thing. So and it's probably something people can't figure out themselves for years and years and years. So I'm just like, whatever. So I'm not going to spend my time worrying about it. I will complain about it.
Right.
But I'm not going to actively seek solution to it, I guess. So I just give up on it.
The other thing I find helpful for me, especially if you're frustrated, is to kind of just get out of myself. Like, just because it's so, if it's just, okay, all about what I can control, what I can't, it's just so, like, myopic. It's so small. So having to worry about other people is better.
Right.
Yeah.
Because then you can take a break from, like, figuring out, because your own life gets boring.
Yes.
For a while. So figuring out, especially nowadays when a lot of people need help, whether it's in a small way I can help out, whether it's like a conflict area or if it's, someone who needs like a ride somewhere, like small ways that you can just kind of make someone else's life better.
Right.
That helps me because then it's like a vacation from the stuff that I can't control.
Right.
And then you're just like, okay, it's not so bad. There's one chip that I was able to like help out, and then I can come back to like figure out the rest of what I need to do today. And
Right.
there's lists. Do you have like a lot of lists every day in terms of what you need to do?
I didn't used to because I couldn't have lists because since I was working in news, which is a very odd industry to begin with, nothing was ever fixed. I might think I would have time to have dinner somewhere with some people, and then by 3 o'clock in the afternoon, I'm on a plane to somewhere else entirely,
Right.
not knowing how long I was going to be away for. So I think that made it very easy for me to learn to not have control and be okay with it.
Okay.
Because I couldn't.
Right.
There was nothing I could control other than my deadline, for example, is 8 p.m. I better be ready with a story by 8 p.m.
Right.
That, I can say that I always managed to do.
But then at that point,
Thankfully.
you're just in work. You're in that work
Yes.
bubble.
But the thing, I learned what I learned to do. I think through all of that it's like because there was always so much chaos, like we're hearing now. Because there was
You hear the
always so much
chaos.
external chaos, you had to learn to just control yourself because that's all you could do.
Right.
And as long as you were okay with that, like if you were centered in whatever it was and you found your own bit of peace, then you were okay to handle anything else.
That's a good one.
So I always found like it was always when things were most chaotic outside of me that I was more able to be steady. That's yeah.
Because for me, it's more in my line of work. It's very much we're more creatures of habit. So we go by schedules. It's very scheduled.
And it's
very
repetitive,
regimented,
right?
Very repetitive.
Because you have the
Right.
same, your consistency for you is
Consistency
key.
is key. Yeah.
Right.
So I have to do it the exact same way, thousands of times a day, every single day. So when it comes when there are days when it's off, it's 1 in a million. It's very rare. But the 1 in a million days, it takes every single bit of my being to make sure that damage control. It's the only thing I can do is damage control. There's nothing else I can. Because in a restaurant, you start bad, you will end bad. That's how
Right.
it really is.
Right.
So you just wait for the day to end so that it's reset for tomorrow.
Right.
But always a creature of habit. Now that I don't have a restaurant to run with the regiment that I do, I get entirely confused what day of the week it is, what time of the day it is. I don't know what I'm doing the next minute. And that for me is kind of my loss of control. That freaks me out. But I've learned to just kind of, it's been 6 months since I last worked in a regimented thing. So now I've just learned to just kind of let it go. And it took a lot for me, but now I have to focus on trying to find a way to build a restaurant. So I'm looking long term rather than tomorrow,
Right.
the next
Right.
day. Yeah.
Right.
When it used to be, my everyday was what's for tomorrow, what's for tomorrow, what's for tomorrow. Now it's what's in 6 months.
Well, when you flash forward, when you're starting which you kind of are, starting your own business, you're going to have lists every
Yeah.
day. Welcome to my world.
Yes. Yeah. Actually, I'm not a list. I don't make lists. I just kind of like go off the top of my head. Not really that kind of person.
I think we're out of G&Ts. We need to refill.
I think
Now that's a perfect moment to take a break. The conversation took a few unexpected turns, but isn't the unexpected what adds magic to life? Now what do you guys think? And how do you handle things not quite panning out as you might have planned? What's gotten you through the unexpected? Are you where you thought you'd be at this point in your life? Please do drop us a line. We'd love to hear more about that. I'm Marga Ortigas, thanking you for joining us, and catch us again soon.